9 March 2021, and I'm joined by Mr. Tinashe Jonasi, President of Ideal Zimbabwe. How are you, sir?
I'm not that well because I've got some challenges with my eyes tonight.
It's fine. I think it will be sorted. It's because of all these late nights that was spending talking here. Right. So let's go straight into the topic. Nelson Chamisa today addressed what he calls Agenda 2021. Did you see that speech?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw the speech.
Okay, what is your view on what Chamisa did in summary overall? What do you think about that speech?
Okay, I think that speech is a continuation of the character of Nelson Chamisa as far as speeches are concerned. He delivers a speech, zero implementation. I can't. I think it's last year. I can't remember where he did. Okay, I will start with. I think it was 2019 when he was at Rufaro Stadium. He announced, I think, five kind of fights. They were never implemented. They were never implemented up to today. Today, he announced again a fight for change, a fight for democracy, a fight for one-party state, against one-party state, a fight against oppressors. It's just rhetoric. Chamisa in this company, they are on Twitter. We know Tendai also said people from Chipinge are witches, but people from Chilonga, he was trying to save them. Those from Chipinge are witches because him and the company were beaten by Professor Maduku on legal opinions. I mean, they insult, they announce, they pronounce, they declare. The speeches, social media, we are done. ZANU-PF on the ground, MDC in heaven or hell. They don't meet water and oil.
Okay, so I hear you on a bigger scale at the high level. What I want to do is I want to go into a bit of detail so that we can have a discussion that is based on what Chamisa said.
Okay, so I would ask you before you go further that you can just either zoom a video or play just 5 seconds. I want the viewers to watch the speech is kind of militant, but I want people to watch his face, the confidence in his face. Chamisa was literally on empty tank of confidence, meaning he is being pushed by some people like BT and Mahere and staff and the company. This speech was pressure. I want viewers to know that MDC has got 2 characteristics. Whenever they are bombed by ZANU-PF, they react in 2 ways. Always. The issue of Blessing Chebundo and Lillian, I can't pronounce. Or how do you pronounce Mr. Gambakwe? Lillian who?
Timvias.
ZANU-PF is leading right now because of that incident. How do they respond? They respond by having their chairperson. What's the name of this chairperson? The drama queen.
Tabitha Kumalo.
Tabitha Kumalo, drama. And secondly, Chamisa was forced to give this speech. That's how they respond. They respond with Chamisa having a speech to promise people that Chamisa is always hibernating in political hiding. Whenever his party is hammered on the ground by ZANU-PF, he comes in, drama. The drama is not trending globally. Global media is knowing now that it's always the norm. So the speech is motivated by that. And then also the Chilonga issue, promising people that we are going to defend the land. The same Tendai Bit who is talking about the people of Chilonga is announced officially that the people from Chipinge are witches. And then Okay.
So let me do what you said. Let me play people a short clip.
The first.
And then
yes.
I'm going to go and analyze the speech very, very quickly. So let's play Chamisa, his opening remarks.
While other governments were working hard to contain the pandemic, the oppressors in Zimbabwe saw it as an opportunity to restrict political rights. They have suspended by-elections indefinitely under the guise of fighting the pandemic. Therefore, while the oppressors were allowing the removal of people's representatives, they've also tried to close the channel for choosing their replacements.
Yeah, Mr. Gambagwe,
so you saw it.
This is called parroting. The mouth is opening and the sound is coming because maybe it's reading. The whole facial body behavior is not the Chamisa I know. Chamisa is vibrant. The hands are active. You normally use his hands. But in this case, in this regard, Chamisa was like a tree. He was just breathing. He didn't stop breathing.
That's because that speech was pre-recorded. It was not a live speech. So if you watched carefully, you will see the editing where they removed portions of that speech. So it was not a live speech.
Yeah. No, even if it's pre-recorded, but what I'm saying is Chamisa was not vibrant. From the face, from the hands, from the body language, I mean, things are not in good shape. Yeah, you can proceed.
Okay, so let me go through what Chamisa said, and then we can analyze it from a more factual basis.
All right.
So as I said, the speech was heavily pre-recorded and edited, and Chamisa introduced what is called citizen convergence for change. So I think this is what they wanted to call their political party, but then they changed their mind about it. So CCC, Citizen Convergence for Change. That is the program. Chamisa said in 2021, it was characterized by authoritarian consolidation of power by the oppressor. So he kept calling Mnangagwa the oppressor. By-elections have been suspended indefinitely. He says that the MDC alliance refuses to be victims. They see themselves as winners. In 2021, he will consolidate his position as the genuine opposition leader. Those that have left the MDC alliance, like Lillian Timvias, are mercenaries, and the MDC alliance does not care for people who only want to eat. The oppressor wants to create an opposition that it can control, the boys and girls like Kupe and Monzora. And we must peacefully resist the companies that support the oppressors. And I hope that they'll be also resisting companies like INSCO. I don't know how that is going to work. We'll embark on a recruitment drive at home and in the diaspora. The churches, students, vendors, it's time to converge into a broad alliance. And then Chamisa presented what he says 5 focus areas for 2021, which is the people's agenda, the citizens' agenda, the reforms agenda, the government agenda, and the global agenda. Then young people remain on the fringes of political space. Then we are going to rely on our members for funds because the government has taken away our funding. So in 2021, Chamisa is going to embark on a very big, massive fundraising campaign in Zimbabwe and in the diaspora. There's a deficit of legitimacy in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe needs to return to legitimacy and democracy. The nation is badly divided. Number 14, no to GNU. They do not want a GNU. They want dialogue, not to share power, but to share a vision. And you will see that this contradicts what BT said. BT says he wants to talk to Mnangagwa at any point without conditions. And Chamisa is saying that they want conditions. Number 15, petty arrests are damaging the image of Zimbabwe. For example, the arrest of Hope Chingono, he mentioned that. Then number 16, Zimbabwe must dollarize so that there's no opportunity for arbitrage. Number 17, we're going to push for the diaspora vote. Number 18, problems in the local authorities are caused by the lack of authority and accountability. And I want to, the last point he made was on Chilonga and Chiazwa. he mentioned that these people are being thrown out so that the cartels that are being controlled by Mnangagwa can go in there and they benefit. But what he didn't mention was that there was also demolitions in the cities. So I want you to just take note. He talked about Chilonga and other places, but he didn't talk about the town, the demolitions. So basically, these were the key points of Chamisa's speech, of what he said. What is your view on this?
All right. The first major characteristics of this speech is the usual Chamisa. What is the Chamisa is not fit to govern his party, is not fit to govern Zimbabwe. Why? In this speech, he is the gesture. When Chamisa says gesture, he is not intimidating people. He is gesture from head to toe. Where do we find the politics of sabotage and the tarnishing and the condemning? Chamisa is a master condemner. I still want to know how does he do his prayers and stuff. Okay, number one, everyone who is outside of MDC alliance or Chamisa and his party must be condemned. We start with the President Emmerson Mnangagwa and the ZANU-PF and the government of Zimbabwe. They are banned as oppressors. Then out. Then surrogates and boys and girls. Dr. Kupe, leader Douglas Monzora, and the company Mutsuri, leader Komichi, they are branded all as boys and girls of controlled opposition. Why? Because they are outside of MDC alliance. Regardless that Weshman once left, Tendai Bit once left, and maybe there were boys also, but now once they are back, they are men. And the companies, they need to be boycotted. Maybe the INSCO, maybe the dairy, anything that doesn't scream triple C, MDC alliance must be condemned 100%. Now, this is a person who says people's president, a people's president. But these people, they are limited to people within his party. And he continued to mention people. And he talks about unity. And in one nation, one people. And I don't know, maybe the ZANU-PF people, when Chamisa become a president, they must be deported to different subject countries. I mean, to me, the character of us assassinating is always Chamisa's strategy. And he talks about unity, unifying, but Chamisa is a master divider. Any Zimbabwean who doesn't subscribe to Triple C must be condemned. So when he became the whole speech, to me, it's I can summarize it's utter satanism.
Right. Let's go to the calling of Mnangagwa as an oppressor.
Yeah.
And a terrorist.
Yeah.
And then going on to say he wants to have dialogue. What is your view on that?
You know what, Mr. Gambagwe, in that speech, why I was emphasizing people to look at Chamisa's face. Chamisa was literally, on the left, Chamisa was talking tough, fights. But on the right, Chamisa in this speech was crying out loud. He was screaming for help. But Tendai Bit and Job Scala and Fadzai Mahere gave him a massage before the speech, and then he can't return back. Now, in the speech itself, it's coming from a wrestler, from a fighter, but he's talking about oppressed, he's crying about their money taken, by harvest house taken. How can you fight ED or ZANU-PF or the government of Zimbabwe but when major assets are gone? you lost the rights to your party, to the name, party name. You lost the accommodation from your own party headquarters. I mean, you lost your parliament, your member of parliament. No, although you made them sign affidavits and promised them that they will never be you fight. They will never be what be taken out of parliament. But they were taken out of parliament. You lost all this. So the evidence on the ground is that the Chamisa is losing dismally. This speech is not representing anything. On the ground, Chamisa has lost important thing. Harvest house, political finance funds, right to the name. These three things, member of parliament. These four things are very, very telling. The speech is deleted with the evidence on the ground. On the ground, 100% loss. The speech, 100% fight. It's contradiction, and it's rhetoric, and it must be abandoned.
Okay, I want to go and play a little clip, and then I want us to see what that is about.
We are better together. We are better united. We are better when we have all our efforts united for the common good. We are better when we are all united by the bond of love, rather than the petty and artificial differences that divide us. Join us to make the history. Join us to make Zimbabwe great. Join us to come and converge and be the citizens. You are the citizens. Do it, make it. Let's converge. Let's reason together. It is very important to all come together and move together. Let this year be your year, the year for citizens to converge, the year to correct the mistakes of the past, the year to make sure that Zimbabwe is brought back on track. Zimbabwe is made great as a nation. Let's do it for our future generations. Let's do it for our nation. Let's do it for our nations. Igore resungano yevanhu yeshanduko umnyaka omutano wabantu abatwela inguquko. From Zimbabwe, we are able to launch a progressive struggle from Zambezi to Limpopo, building a great Zimbabwe, making a Zimbabwe that is greater, the great Zimbabwe. One people, one vision, one nation, always for a greater Zimbabwe, always for a better Zimbabwe, always for you. Winning Zimbabwe for change, change that delivers. God bless you. God bless Zimbabwe. God bless Africa. God is in it. Be blessed this 2021. May you succeed. May we fight for our land. May we build Zimbabwe. May we unite to make Zimbabwe greater again. God is with us, and God will take us there.
Right. Is that bipolar or what?
To be honest, I can say to you, well said. The one way to summarize this is bipolar. Because Mr. Zimbabwe, let's be honest here, he is talking about convergence for what is Zimbabwe, and he's talking about God bless Zimbabwe. Chamisa's speech is all about his party. Chamisa is very partisan. Chamisa is such a leader that when he wins the president of the country, every person who is not in the books of MDC alliance, either you rush to register and buy a card, or you run away from Zimbabwe. So, I mean, he must not, and for him to say God is in it. Yes, his speech is full of hate, is full of condemning people, and then God is in it. I think God is out of it a long time. And then the other thing here, Mr. Zimbabwe, Chamisa is spiritualizing politics. By nature, politics is not spiritual. What is politics? how does politics meet faith, matters of faith? Matters of faith makes you believe in victory that is not certain at the moment. That's faith. So faith motivates you to play the competition in politics, to compete with the best, with the incumbent. And secondly, you Bible want you to pray for wisdom. The wisdom you pray for comes in and manifests as the political strategies. But Chamisa thinks the presidency, you extract the power from the mountain. That is madness. That properly madness. Who is a politician in the Bible? The politician was King Solomon. King Solomon was using wisdom to even that example of the two women who were fighting for a baby. There was nothing spiritual about that issue. There was no mountain, there was no fasting, there was no seeding there. There was an idea, there was a strategy of finding who the true mother of the baby is. So Chamisa is, whenever the political tank goes empty, he goes to the mountain. And I feel sorry for him. God is in it to give him wisdom to strategize and plan and outmaneuver his opponent, who is ED. ED is the strategizing. ED is not spending time going to the mountain. He is busy with his team, conceptualizing, creating feasible master plans that can be that are implementable. But Chamisa, because he's saying God is in it, God is for Chamisa, God is for ED as well.
Okay. I do agree with you, Mr. Jonas, and I think what we should do is next week, let's go into what Mnangagwa is doing.
All right.
Because right now, ZANU-PF is looking like a better political party than what Chamisa has built.
Yeah.
And what I want to do is, I want to just look at this speech. I'm very, very disappointed with Chamisa's speech because initially they had said they were going to announce a new name for their political party. So they failed to do that. That is a very big problem because now they're going to go into the 2023 elections without a name. And some of the other weaknesses that I saw in this speech, he said he's got 5 focus areas.
Yeah.
But if you listen to him speaking, he did not address any of the 5 focus areas. So there's no action. So plan of action, if you say you're focusing on people, there's no focus area. You're focusing on the nation, there's no focus area, there's no steps, concrete steps that you can take on the ground. And then if you also look at calling Mnangagwa an oppressor, I felt that that is really a bad move because where we're going, even if the MDC was to win, they won't win by 100%.
Yeah.
Imagine if Chamisa wins and Mnangagwa refuses to recognize his win.
Yes. Yes.
So I think where we're going, there's a need for accommodation. And Chamisa is not seeing all this. He is behaving like a student leader. He's not yet behaving like a political party, a mature political party leader.
Yeah.
Right. Then if you look at the issue of sanctions, Chamisa said nothing about the issue of sanctions.
Yes.
I don't think anyone in Zimbabwe right now should be quiet about the issue of sanctions. It has become a big, big topic. And yesterday we were talking about this. We were criticizing Mnangagwa for not doing enough to remove those sanctions. And Chamisa totally ignores these sanctions. And then if you look at the global agenda, Chamisa announced a bunch of things like the New Africa Focus, the dialogue series, all these things. I do not think Chamisa can do them. If you go back, he also introduced things like the smart economy and all that. All those things are just talk. So I think overall, this speech, very, very poorly done. And he lacks actionable plans. And to make matters worse, I think people like Mahere and Tendai Biti, they're just standing back, watching. They don't care anymore because they see that this thing is not going very, very well. So that is my opinion. And I think we should wrap up with your side. Is there anything else that you want to say about this?
Okay, I wanted to tell viewers that the whole speech again is stuck in I mean, it's back on 2018 issue of legitimacy. Legitimacy is a hiding. Why is Chamisa always complain about legitimacy? It's a strategy. Chamisa is afraid of any other opposition leader rising up or competition within his party, because he is with the political jackals like Tendai Biti. So he wants to be closer to ED. He wants to create a scenario that Chamisa is the only person who can compete with ED, because Chamisa won and he was rigged. That's why people are wondering why Chamisa is always talking about 2018, 2018, 2018. He is trying to say, I won against Mnangagwa and I was rigged. Give me a chance. 2023 also, if the conditions are, if there are reforms or 1, 2, 3, I would win. It's a strategy to bypass any potential threat, any other person from coming between. So that Zimbabwe is divided literally between ED and Chamisa, and no one exists. Anyone existing is if he's not in the broader alliance, that person is a boy or girl who is paid by ZANU-PF. So his rhetoric is to show himself as the only person in Zimbabwe. Anything else, ZANU-PF is made up of oppressors. He said ZANU-PF will never reform, and they failed to reform. But he is saying we want to fight for reforms. And Chamisa, I understand him very well. Before 2018, he did demonstrations around Zek, wherever, and he was saying, if there are no reforms, we will never even participate. He even announced that they are reconsidering their position to participate or not if there are no reforms. There were no reforms. Chamisa was in the elections. So people, Chamisa is a clown. Chamisa is a poet. He is brilliant with words. He is good to playing around with words. He is eloquent and is fluent. He is talented with words, and that is space. And we should respect Chamisa as someone who is good in delivering speeches. And on the political real ground, realm of politics, Chamisa is nothing. Chamisa runs his ground. When he says he's going to mobilize, he is going to go to the mountain, pray, and announce God is in it, and wait for a miracle that will never come.
Yes. So, Mr. Jonasi, there is a comment on the screen.
Yeah,
I want to address it. So,
okay.
They say revolution is open to everyone. Gambakwen Jonasi, if you know the best, then do it. What is holding you back? What I would do myself, given Chamisa on one side and Mnangagwa and ZANU-PF on the other side, to tell you the honest truth, at this particular point, it is pointless to go to Chamisa. You will never achieve your political objectives. You will be wasting your time because the man is just not on the ground. And I think people who are leaving the MDC alliance to go to Mnangagwa, I think they're better off politically. In 10 years' time, if we look at the person who left Chamisa to go to Mnangagwa, he will be better off than someone who stayed with Chamisa. I don't know what you think.
You are very correct. You know what? When I read when I was listening to Chamisa and he was saying we want to fight a one-party state, I even said, "Oh, okay." The word one-party state came to my mind, and I contemplated a lot about it. I said, "Okay, look, the scenario in Zimbabwe." ZANU-PF, to me, politically, they are not really, they're not like above the rest. No. ZANU-PF what is happening is that opposition parties are not serving the agenda. They are not formed for any cause. Opposition, either an opposition leader, we have got opposition leaders like myself, who are like not people, they want the clouds like Chamisa. The people of Zimbabwe, they deserve the life, they deserve whatever is happening to them, because they are very gullible. To support Chamisa and think they are going somewhere, they deserve it. And then those leaders who are serious about leading people, like Tinashe Jonasi, people they don't see it. They want a cloud. I've been telling Zimbabweans that Chamisa is weak, is afraid, is fearful. It is parking the bus of anything, any challenge to ZANU-PF. Now, Mr. Gambagwe, the issue of a one-party state in Zimbabwe, I don't think it's a bad idea. I'm not advocating for it, but what is dividing Zimbabweans right now? It's politics. One-party state. China has got one-party state, and the economy is supersonic in terms of performance. What is killing the economy of Zimbabwe? Because when someone is a member of parliament, they are not sure, because things are bad in Zimbabwe, because there is a political fight. Every resource is invested in political fight and victory and whatever. That's what we are doing in Zimbabwe mostly. 90% of our focus is on politics. Hence, people are campaigning for 5 years. Now, one-party state, I think it will make the whole economy to be in shape. When the whole economy is in shape, people they don't do transactional politics, career politics. Someone is in politics in Zimbabwe for 50 years, for 100 years. Why? Because there are only two industries in Zimbabwe right now, which is politics and the papa, which is profit. Every day, yeah, and law. Law, because you are paid by prophets or by politicians. Any businessman is benefiting politically. So politics and the papa. So everyone is a prophet. People are practicing how to be a prophet. You find that Mr. Makandiwa is a prophet. Then the son called Evidence Chari is born also with the blessing of prophets. And then you think maybe prophetic prophecy is genetically modified,
transmitted.
It's so funny. It's so funny. So we need to be united. I think the issue of a one-party state, to me, it's very appealing, because we don't have MDC alliance is going to fail. MDCT is going to fail dismally. I mean, it's just a drama. We are wasting time as Zimbabweans. We should forget about who is in power. I mean, I want to be a president, yes, but the economy of Zimbabwe, the lives of Zimbabwe is bigger than my ambition to be the president. I think Zimbabwe needs one-party state. I think so. Otherwise, the people who say we want democracy, want. Okay, if you don't want to join ZANU-PF, which other party are you going to join? Because you are joining clowns. I think, to me, we are wasting time.
All right, Mr. Jonas, I get you. And I think let us wrap up. We've gone about 30 minutes. On my side, totally disappointed with Chamisa's speech. I do not think he has set a good foundation at all for 2021. We will be back here in 2022, God willing, and we will be saying the same thing. Chamisa, he has disappointed. You remember what we said last year when he announced his 5 fights?
Yeah.
and then now it's a year.
Yeah.
Chamisa has failed to do the simple thing, which is to get things changing in his own political party.
Yeah.
And that is my quarrel with Chamisa. And if he gets to 2023 like this, I will personally join ZANU-PF. rather than bother with Chamisa.
Okay.
I'm fed up with what he's doing right now.
No, actually, the present situation in Zimbabwe, if anyone is joining a party, as I said, ZANU-PF are not politically superior. But if you ignore ZANU-PF at the moment, there's nothing. It's just a political smoke screen. Because Chamisa is saying the state machinery is being used by ZANU-PF. And I want to answer that. Chamisa is not the opponent of Nelson Chamisa in Zimbabwe is not ED. I want to advise Chamisa. His opponent is the government of Zimbabwe. Why I'm saying that? I'm talking about the police, the army, the CIO, the prisons. Why? Chamisa is not challenging ZANU-PF. If you become a president of your own political party illegally, you are already challenging the judiciary, which is the government. The person who is aggrieved to go to court, and you are going to lose the case. If you are saying you want to fight ZANU-PF, as we speak, ZANU-PF is not only a party, it's the government of Zimbabwe. The elections are over. And then you want to 2021, you want to create a fight. What is that? That is a cold war. Whether he is going to do it peacefully, he is going to do a peaceful cold war. It's a fight against the government. So why ED must be bothered? If someone wants to fight the government of Zimbabwe, whether you try to do peaceful or not, but you are declaring it's a fight. So does he think that ED sleeps day and night? Does he think people in ZANU-PF, they sleep day and night? The state is going to crush Chamisa because Chamisa wanted to remove the government through a fight. He is abandoning democratic ways. So Nelson Chamisa, you are not fighting ZANU-PF. ED doesn't worry about you. You are fighting the government of Zimbabwe, especially the state security. Because the country is made safe by the intelligence of the country, whether it's the civil intelligence or the military intelligence. So if you are declaring a fight, then Chamisa must be very brave. And I don't know how he's going to fight the state because he wants a fight. And the state are listening. His speech is broadcast live. I mean, he is fighting the government. Mnangagwa is not weaponizing anything. Chamisa is declaring war because the government of Zimbabwe is the custodian of the constitution of the country. And then if Mnangagwa is left with 1 year or 2 years now to 2023, and you want to fight and remove him, then it's a declaration of war. And at the end, it will end in tears. Chamisa will be crushed because you can't fight a state.
Okay, so we are back to the topic of strategy.
Yeah.
Chamisa is failing to articulate the strategy, and he's also failing to articulate the tactics. He's failing to set up the internal structures. He's failing to unite the opposition, but he talks of convergence. And this has been happening since the elections. Yeah. I think 2023 is going to be a very, very bad year for Chamisa if he continues this way. And
I want to show that Chamisa is a confused. I want to call him a confused cockroach. He is indicating that the state machinery is weaponized by ED. At the same time, he is talking about election rigging. In the same space, he is crying for by-elections. He is saying we need by-elections to replace those who were recalled. How can you agitate for by-elections when you are saying the oppressors are not reforming and they've captured the state? And he is also waiting for 2023. He wants to do massive mobilization. I mean, Mr. Gambakwe, I think, I think people of Zimbabwe who love their country, I believe there is one option now. I'm not sending people to join ZANU-PF, but Zimbabweans, they love those who love Chamisa. They must know that they hate themselves, they hate the country. Because as the opposition leaders, we know that Zimbabweans, they love clowns. People who Morgan Tsvangirai, may his soul rest in peace. Morgan Tsvangirai, I can say he was brave. He was brave. Morgan Tsvangirai had no, in terms of strategy. Nelson Chamisa is on a legacy of Morgan Tsvangirai. Morgan Tsvangirai had zero strategy. Zero strategy because Tsvangirai achieved nothing. None. He achieved nothing in Zimbabwe. But people, they say Chamisa, Tsvangirai to me was useless. There was no strategy at all. Maybe sacrificing Zimbabweans to go to prison, Zimbabweans to be killed. Only. Otherwise, that's what Chamisa is doing. The Mamombes are going to prison, but although they are getting money through that, there is nothing. He is safe. Chamisa is pronouncing a fight. He doesn't have his cars. He's in his house with his wife, and safe with his wife, and turning that house into an old age home. But
okay.
I mean,
so Mr. Jonas, I hear you, and I think from my side, my last word for today is that 1 January 2023, if Chamisa still hasn't got a united opposition and all these divisions are not there, I'm going to personally just go and join ZANU-PF and become like the best ZANU-PF supporter ever. Like I'll just, this is just the truth. I don't want to lie to you.
Yeah.
If you see 1 January 2023 coming like this,
yeah,
and Chamisa is making speeches, Kupe is making speeches, Monzora is making speeches, don't think that these guys are going to win. These guys are not serious. And for you, Mr. Jonas, as an opposition leader,
yeah,
that's why people like Lillian Timvias, they're doing what they're doing. They just realize that they are wasting their time with school politicians. There is no strategy.
Chamisa is the president of Zinasu. You know what? Let me show you this one thing, Mr. Gambakwe. You are talking about the 2023 unification of the MDCs. ZANU-PF defeated MDC when they were unified. When they were a unified entity, they were defeated. Now imagine when there's MDC Gogo and MDC Chamisa's wife and the cousins, MDC Mahere. I mean, to expect anything in 2023, you know, Mr. Gambagwe, Zimbabweans, we are clowns. Honestly speaking, we are jokers. That's why everyone in Zimbabwe is a prophet. We believe that the country is going to be built by prophets. That's the first way to be clowns. A country is run by unity and wisdom. But in our country, a prophet is even considered better than an engineer or anything. Prophets who prophesy only prominent people. Only prominent people. They don't give us the prophets of someone in Gokwe. No prophet in Zimbabwe prophesies about COVID-19. They mustn't play with our mind. And I even think the president, the member of parliament must process a bill that must put these prophets in place. We are tired of clouds in our country. It can't be true that Zimbabwe has got the most prophets maybe in the world. Why? I understand the work of prophets, but the prophets in Zimbabwe, on that I don't go to prophetic churches. Otherwise, one prophet I was going to physically chase him around in the church. Mr. Gabagwe, I think we are tired as Zimbabweans. We are tired. We have surrendered ourselves. Now we believe in miracles and God is in it. Speech. If God is in it, You don't need to introduce him. God is everywhere. Yeah, Mr. Gambakwe, 2023, ZANU-PF is going to win. What is the problem? The problem, number one, lies with opposition leaders who are clowns, those who are serious. The citizens of Zimbabwe are clowns. Those who are in opposition, they don't want people who are serious. They want the clowns. So a clown leader it attracts clown supporters. Real people are ignored. I will give example. I don't want to give example of myself. I will give example of Prof. Matuku. Prof. Matuku talks sense, doesn't do any comedy, and is ignored.
Gosana
Moyo doesn't do comedy, is ignored. Noah Manyika doesn't do comedy, is ignored. Zimbabweans are clowns.
Okay, I think this is a good point to leave this discussion. And what I want to do is tomorrow, I want to come back and I want to read a letter that was written by Grace Quinje about Chamisa. Tomorrow, that's what I want to do. I want to stay on Chamisa today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
And next week, I want us to come back and deal with him. Because the problem that we have is he goes for a very long time. So he makes a speech in December. He's going to make another speech in March. So 3 months. You wait for another speech after 3 months. So tomorrow, let me do that. Let me look at that letter by Grace Chingwe. You can go to Grace Quinje. You can go on Zimai now. You will see that letter is there. It was written this morning. She's very, very critical about his leadership style. And she said most of the things that you said here today. Is there anything else you want to say before we close?
Yeah, I think we are helping ZANU-PF to take to 2023 to me is in the bag of ZANU-PF. If there's any strategies to do, they must be for 2028. Holding the elections for 2023 is just a mere waste of resources. I think I'm an opposition leader, but I know that my supporters also, and I'm also a clown, and we are clowns. ZANU-PF is serious. When elections are near, ZANU-PF people, they don't play. They don't play. You reap what you sow. In opposition, we are clowns. We need to do movies and stand-up comedy. Kafupi, I think Kafupi and DJ, that one is acting with. I'm forgetting. Maybe Kafupi, Vanichoga, they must leave to the opposition. I mean, Chamisa, Jonas, everyone must just go join ZANU-PF, maybe. Vanichoga must and Kafupi. I forgot DJ who acts with the Kafupi. Made them bossy. That mighty comic pastor. I think they should lead the opposition.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Jonasi. And thank you very much to everyone who's at home. There's just one guy I want to answer before I go here. He's saying that we've got 210 viewers. What I want to tell this guy is that Gambakwe Media on YouTube and Facebook, we have a total of 8 million views a month. Don't take Gambakwe Media for a joke. And Chamisa knows this very, very well. That in 2018, we did a lot to make him win. If we flip on him in 2023, it's going to show. And I'm not even playing about this. I'm not going to be supporting a joke in 2023. I want something serious. Right, Mr. Jonas, thank you very much. And good night to everyone who's watching from home. We'll see you again on Monday.
Thank you so much.